Watson in the gun. He'll hand it off, hit in the backfield, nowhere to go! He's stopped! The Jags get a 4th down stop, and it's a turnover on downs!
That was Jalen Jordan.
Much needed weekend. It was good for our guys to get away this weekend after a Thursday game. Sometimes when you go long in the season and all that stuff, we all make sacrifices to our families and some of the time that you get away from football. And so it was nice to have some of that this weekend. Got to play ball in the backyard with my boys a little bit. Got to take my wife out to dinner. I'm sure each of our coaches and players got to do some of the same things in their own way. Obviously a very tough loss the other night against Troy. They did a tremendous job making more plays than we did down the stretch. And so certainly one that, our guys, I think, took advantage of the weekend and seemed to come back with some pretty good energy. I think we have a pretty resilient group of guys in terms of how they attack each week of practice, even when things don't go well the week before. But at some point, we've got to be more responsive in terms of how we produce on game day, and those things aren't happening to the level that we feel like we are capable of. So I think, when you really look at it, South Alabama's got to stop beating South Alabama. First and foremost, we got to make more plays at the point of attack than our opponents. And so, you can point to a number of different things in regard to that. Some of that is personnel, some of that is schematics, some of that is fundamentals. Those all kind of go into, playing off of one another. But ultimately, it really just comes down to having more focus for that one snap in each of those phases. The personnel that's out there on the field, the scheme, and then the fundamental execution that I didn't think we did well enough in particular last Thursday night. So we've got a very good opponent in Arkansas State. They are playing their best football right now in the last 3 years. I think they've got a young quarterback that has gained some experience and made the most of that experience. He certainly still, he does some young guy things, as all freshman quarterbacks do, just like we saw from Gio the other night. But I think can create some things with his feet. Is really difficult to bring down in the pocket. You see him really standing there. He can take hits, and it rarely is the first guy going to get him down. And then I think they're doing a really good job of finding ways to create explosive plays offensively. They're limiting some of the explosives, that they've given up in the past defensively. And I think they're playing, really fast and anticipating on defense right now. So really impressed by what Butch Jones has done here at the end of this season.
Question. Where you at quarterback? How's Carter doing?
He had a really good week last week in terms of his rehab. We've been really aggressive towards it. He's been really aggressive towards it. Has taken some snaps with the ball in his hand. Even at the end of last week, and some, I think over the weekend getting himself ready. But I think we'll have to know, we'll have to see what the next couple of days look like in terms of how much is he actually going to be able to go and practice. What would that look like? Hopefully we don't have any setbacks as he goes into practice. And so, I would say for him it would be a game time decision. Obviously Gio, is doing some good things, and hopefully we'll build off the momentum of what he's done thus far. And then, of course, Desmond out there as well this week. So all three of them will take reps with the ones and twos, I hope. But certainly we'll have to kind of see how Carter's feeling as the week goes on.
When you went back and looked at it, what was your evaluation of Gio?
I think you see the exciting things about Gio, in terms of what he's going to be able to bring to the table with his feet, his ability to create plays and extend plays in the run and passing game. He brings us some different options in our running game. We call them split plays, but essentially we can either block for the quarterback run or the running back run and have the ball, an option going the opposite way, whether it's a quarterback keep, whether we're pitching the ball out to a running back in a perimeter screen and then running a counter play into the boundary or something like that. So he's giving us, some more options in terms of our run game than what we had out of Jake Bentley and Carter Bradley. But certainly some young guy mistakes that were out there. But what I was impressed to see is it seemed like he knew where those mistakes were happening and he was able to get them kind of corrected as the game was going on. You just, you got to have some of those experiences to continue to see what it looks like on game day. So I would imagine that experience will pay big dividends in our program and for him in the future.
Anything else? Yeah, Quentin Wilfon had a second straight really good game.
Yeah.
What do you see in that?
I would argue that he's had 4 or 5 really good games. Certainly the production level over the last 2 has been phenomenal. Q is the number 5 jersey this week. I talked to the team about, in my mind, why he was so deserving of the jersey. Here's a guy that in the Central Michigan game let emotions get the best of him and cost this team with a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct. And took ownership of that after the game, has done nothing but put his head down, go to work, be a great teammate, practice hard every week, and then produce on game day. And for a defense that we have not had enough guys step up in the moment and make plays, Quentin Wilfon is doing everything he can to make this team better. And so I think he's playing winning football. I think we can need more guys that play at the level that he is playing right now. But just very proud of him on a personal level of how he's handled a mistake and dealt with the adversity of that in terms of how he served his teammates.
Beyond the quarterback, what about Arkansas State stands out?
I think they are creating more explosive plays and giving up less explosive plays than what they've done in the past. They're able to extend drives. I thought in years past they had a number of 3-and-outs when you would watch them. They are creating explosive plays and extending drives on third down. So they're doing a pretty nice job the last few weeks here on third down. Quarterback is a big piece of that. But I think they've got some really good schematic answers. You can tell that they are very mindful of what you put on film as a defense, and they go after that. They try to attack those things. And so we've got to be very smart about what we do. We've got to mix some things up, but we also just fundamentally got to be able to execute based off of what they're going to try to do against us. And then from a defensive perspective, I think they're playing their best football that I've seen in the last 3 years, limiting explosive plays downfield and kind of keeping, for the most part, teams in check without giving up a bunch of costly touchdowns. So everybody's going to give up explosive, but they're limiting the ones that are the big haymakers for touchdowns. And then they're playing really opportunistic, particularly in situational football. You can tell that they've got ownership of what they're doing defensively. They're playing at a fever pitch right now, playing with a lot of confidence. You can kind of take what they did the front half of the season basically out of the equation, because I think they're a very different team right now. But very impressed with what Butch and his staff and those players are doing here on the back half of the season.
I think we're close in a lot of different ways, but just down the stretch, I didn't think we had the consistency we needed. Started off fast. Guys were playing with a lot of energy. We're playing fast, getting ourselves off the field on third down, doing the things we needed to do. We just didn't do a good enough job of sustaining it, through the body blows of the game. Those type of games are going to go back and forth, and in critical moments, I thought their guys were able to make plays, and we didn't come up with those plays that we needed to be successful.
The at least 2 of the touchdown passes that looked like the DB was right there, and it's just a big guy making plays.
Sure.
Kind of ways that one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta compete for the ball. I mean, hats off to their guy. He did a great job. He's done that all year. He's we talked about that going into it. Tremendous physicality at the point of attack, and we got to make those plays. And they were able to capitalize on those plays. 3 times. So that's the difference. When you look at it.
Arkansas State has an athletic quarterback that's a freshman, but just what you've seen out of him.
Yeah, he's very similar to the James Madison kid. He is a quarterback. He gets back there. He can read coverage. I think he's got a really live arm. I think he plays with some swagger and some moxie. He does a great job of having awareness in the pocket. I think that's the biggest difference that you see from them from a year ago. They've always had athletic quarterbacks. This guy's having, he's making them go right now.
Wilfon had a second straight pretty strong game.
Yep.
What's he been doing?
Just consistency, man. I mean, that's the thing. When you put on the tape, you know what you're going to get out of 10. You're going to get a guy that's playing with his hair on fire, a guy that plays with tremendous effort and physicality at the point of attack. He's doing the things that we need to do to have winning football. And as we continue down this home stretch, we're going to need every bit of his leadership and his production on the field, for the stretch run.
What was your evaluation of Gio first time you really had to play a lot?
I thought he did really well. True freshman, thrown into that situation on a short week against league's best defense, 1A, 1B, then with James Madison, great defense. I thought he played really well. I thought he played tough. There's always things in every game. I don't care if you're a fifth-year senior. There's always things you can get better at, see better, and make decisions. But by and large, it was really impressive to see a true freshman go out there and play, with that kind of poise and take care of the ball. I know we had an interception late when we were down 2 scores. We were trying to press the ball down the field, and that stuff's going to happen when you're behind. But very pleased with him, and just excited about where he's going to continue to grow and develop. He's got a humble heart. He works hard, so his future is bright.
What do you see with Arkansas State? This team is starting to play really good football right now.
Yeah, they just got a lot of confidence. They're playing really hard. They play really hard on defense. First thing that jumps off is the limited explosives from last year. They've really cut that number in half in terms of just giving up explosive plays, aggressive to the ball. I see him knocking the ball out, punching the ball out, stripping the ball out. So you got to do a great job of taking care of the ball, but playing with confidence and more in control of their scheme and what they're doing.
I guess 0 for 10 on third down doesn't require much explanation, but just how tough was that?
Well, we talk about third down start with first and second down, and when you got 10 third downs and 6 or 7 of them are 7+, then we're not getting what we need on first and second down, and we've got to take ourselves out of those situations. So I've got to do a better job. Number one, start with me, just getting us in more manageable third down situations, and then we've got to execute as players too to get us in those situations. And we get in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4, we're pretty good, and that's what we didn't do a great job of Thursday night.
How was Carter looking in what are his prospects for the school?
He looked better towards the end of the middle of the week last week, and he's moving around better, but still was just in a position where he couldn't move around enough to protect himself on a consistent basis. So he's continuing to progress in the right way. He'll be out there at practice again, tomorrow. He's out there again today, and we'll just continue to monitor him and see, how well he can move and play.
Today was our first day back, but the main thing that we talked about was just keeping the main thing, and just the fundamental things, just getting better at those, and just trying to do what we do best and not try to overplay our parts. Each player and even the coaches just stay focused and just keep the main thing for the most part.
What did you think of the way Gio played the other night's first real test?
I feel like he played really good. A rivalry game to be your first start as a freshman. So he held his own. I feel like he definitely held his own, played good, in my opinion, and basically just held up on his own, held up his end. So, yeah.
Talk about your progression throughout this year. I mean, you've really stepped in and shined.
Yes, sir. I just try to play my part and let the game come to me, and I'm happy like it's playing out the way it's playing out. I'm thankful for it. To try to go in each week, same mindset, just stay consistent and just play my part, and whatever comes, comes.
You guys, I guess, got to win 2 out of 3 to get in the bowl game. What's the mentality of the team right now?
Really just don't get negative and just like look forward like for a bowl game, like for the seniors here, and just go out and just give it our all for real. Just each and every play, just play hard and just try to get one.
Before going into the game, we had set a list of things we needed to do, and that one of them was limit explosive plays, and obviously they had those 4 explosive plays. 3 of them was the same guy for a touchdown, so it kind of hurt us in that way. And then a lot of our tackling, they kind of just falling forward for those small gains of yards, just hurt us in the end.
Arkansas State seems like every team we face has an athletic quarterback. This one's big, though, can break tackle. I'll talk about the challenges again of a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, we played mobile quarterbacks all year, and kind of going in the same game plan as that. He's bigger, kind of like the Central Michigan guy. We kind of struggle with him, but we learn from our mistakes and just our backs are really against the wall now. So.
Yeah, speaking of backs against the wall, like you said, you guys got to win at least 2 to get in the bowl game. What's the kind of mentality of the team now?
Well, the mentality right now is just win them all, win the rest. We all know it's a different feeling than it was last year, but at the end of the day, 66 wins get you a bowl game, but we still want them all. We want 7 wins. I feel like that'll make us feel better about going to a bowl game rather than just making a bowl game.